Hello, hello, hello. Gonna jump right in. It is March 29th, and for the next couple weeks, I will be here every Wednesday and answering your questions regarding taxes up until the deadline. Whether or not I continue after that on a weekly basis, we will see. We'll see how this goes. I will always continue to do the first Wednesday of the month for your bookkeeping. All right, hold on just a second. Let me cut some of these lights off. So, that's a little bit better. All right. So, if you have questions regarding taxes, let's put them in the chat. Let's get going. This is a hard stop. I have consult calls right after this. So, and if you are in the group, in the Reseller Nirvana group, then I will also be doing something weekly within the group on Thursdays. So the same time every Thursday, my regular accounting call is not going to be limited, but the other weeks, there's just 2 of them between now. So we got 4 weeks till the deadline. Will be also hard stops at 1 hour. So I'm here and I'm ready to answer your questions. So either drop them in the chat or let me see if I can. Here. I will put, here's the link again for if you want to join me on the screen and ask me voice to voice, face to face. Feel free to jump in. All right, and I think I'm going to get rid of this blurry background. And you guys know that I am also a reseller, so there it is. So we'll just have it all out there. And my mess, you can just see it. So that's my where I photo. Well, right there is where I photo. That's the batch that has been done. My shipping station is on the other side behind this file cabinet. All my inspirational things and photos of my family are behind me. I get to see them all the time. All right, people. We've got 7 people watching. I need some questions. I'm not just going to sit here and talk to myself. If you don't have any questions, that's fine too. I can just get back to doing taxes. Okay, well, let me do a little bit more housekeeping. So I'll put another video out about this, but if you are an LLC, then know if you have not filed your 1065, and if you're asking me what is a 1065, then we've got issues. We need to get those straight. Reach out to me. But if you have an LLC, there's a informational that you need to send into your state every year, and there is a an actual LLC return that has to be done every year, and that was due on the 15th of March. So you're 2 weeks late. Hi, Cherry Picket. Yes, sure. You can either type them in, or the link is right above where you just typed and in the chat, and you can join me on screen, whichever one you would like to do. If you do decide to join me on screen, just remember to mute the YouTube or close out the YouTube, because the sound will have feedback. So you're fine to join me on screen and keep the YouTube open. Just mute it, please. Kristen's Epic Adventures. Hi and welcome. She says, hi, Cheryl. I'm in the group. How far away from your normal sourcing area do you need to be to write off 50% of your business meals while out thrifting? Okay, so here's how I explain that. If you are like Chris, who was in a very traffic impacted area, then trying to get 2 miles back to your house could take you 2 hours. And no, they don't have a normal, right? It's relative to your situation. So, for example, if I spend the entire day out thrifting, and I don't do that anymore because I've got people sending me stuff, then I'm gonna take lunch and I'm gonna write it off, right? I'm obviously out for the entire day. I'm not going back to the house. If I am only out for part of the day, for example, but for me, it could be because I'm in a more rural area, I can get a pretty good distance fairly quickly. So, I mean, it could be, 15, 20 miles away from my house. And if I'm spending the whole morning out thrifting, then I might be hungry, grab lunch or something before I get back to the house. So hopefully that will help clear it up. Like I said, it's relative. Don't abuse it, but it is 50% this year again. So, hi, Dawn. Dawn of Thrifting in the house. Cherry Picket says, qualified retirement savings contribution in OLT. Do we put the amount the spouse contributed on 2 different lines? You should be able to. It depends. If it comes to you in 2 different lines, then you put it on 2 different lines. I haven't had to do one in a while, but the way that I follow it is if it gives me the ability to put it in separate and calculate it in the system, then that's the way I do it. Kristen's says, I have 8 to 10 thrifts nearby, but sometimes I drive over 1 hour away to go to the good bins. Absolutely. So if you're at the 8 to 10 thrifts and you spend all day out, then don't worry about it. Grab some lunch before you hit the next place. If you are going an hour away to the good bins, again, absolutely. Cherry Picket says, donations under the deduction checklist in OLT. Do I fill out a form 8995 and upload it by PDF, or do I just... Okay, so let's talk about donations. If you are expensing your inventory when you get it, which is the way that I suggest that you do, then there is nothing to fill out for donations. And more than likely, you won't have enough itemized deductions for the Schedule A in order to use the Schedule A. If you do them and they were personal donations, then by all means add them to the Schedule A, but not for your business. Let's see. Cherry Picket says, 3, real estate taxes. Do I include what we paid on the whole house or just a portion? So that goes in home office expense. It goes under indirect, and you can put the whole house. because again, you're not getting the entire amount, and more than likely you don't have enough for your Schedule A anyway. It will only give you a portion of those taxes. So you're only getting a portion. Question 4 from Cherry Picket. We paid $1,000 deductible on our home insurance to get our ceiling fixed. Where do I enter that info in OLT? So again, on the home office deduction, we're using the regular form. Okay. And under when it pulls up, it's got the direct on the left and the indirect on the right. So anything that pertains to the home that is not directly affected by in your office, right, and your business space would go under indirect. So the $1,000 deductible would be part of your repairs and maintenance, and it would go on the indirect side. Same question for any other insurance deductible. I mean, same answer, sorry. Question 5, what is qualified business income? I don't have a really good short answer, but with what we do, click the box that says you qualify and then just click next, because there's nothing else for us to enter. And the software will do it for you. That's the easiest way for me to put it. Just click through it. And if you have a positive amount on the bottom of your Schedule C, then you'll actually get what I call QBID, which is qualified business income deduction. You'll actually get a portion on your tax return. It's just a further deduction that they give because you have a business, and it is not, most businesses do qualify. If you have a loss, then anything that you would be eligible for would get carried over to the next year. Misty says, when charging our business card for car expenses, phone, internet, etc., do we charge 100% of the price and then write off the percentage of usage at the end of the year, or charge the percent we think we use? All right. So for a reseller business, or a YouTube business, we 100% use our phone and our internet. So any kind of online, strictly online business, we 100% use our phone and our internet. So those are 100% deductible. You can do that in one of two ways. You can include that in your regular day-to-day expenses that you put into your bookkeeping on a monthly basis. You can just add that in there and it will calculate it 100%. The other way to do it, which I don't recommend because I want you to have all the expenses that you're eligible for 100% in your expenses so that you can see your total income and your total expenses throughout the year so that you can make good tax strategy decisions with your accountant, with your bookkeeper, whoever it is that you work with. For the other items, you have to calculate your business use of your house. So your electric, your rent, your mortgage, your insurance, all of those other things, anything pertaining to your home would end up being a percentage. So for example, let me just pull up my workbook and show you what I mean. Make it nice and easy for you guys. Here we go. All right, so present, share screen. Okay, there we go. So this is not an exhaustive list, but so anything else that you can have, that you have for your home, put it in there. But what you do is you take your total square foot of your home. Well, we're going to say a 2,000 square foot home. And if you use your garage, if you don't use your garage, then it doesn't get added. But if you use your garage, you can, and you only even use a little piece of it, you can add the whole garage. So we're going to say we have a 500 square foot garage and we use the garage. So, and then we have a 10 by 10 bedroom that we use it within our house for office space. So that is 100 square foot. So we have 600 square foot of used business space. That gives us 24% of business use of home. So let's say we have a $200 electric bill for the year. Then we have a $50 water bill for the year. And we've got a $25, I'm hopeful, trash bill for the year. Say our rent is $2,000 a month. And we've got renter's insurance at $50 a month. This is just some examples, right? What this shows is our deductible limit is that the deduction that we're going to get on our taxes is $558 a month or $6,696 a year for the home office deductions, not the ones that would be 100%. So for example, if you were to paint your office space, you could take that as an entire amount. So say you spent $100 on the paint and the rollers, and maybe you got somebody to do it and that cost you $300. So there's $400 that you could write off directly because it was directly involved with your business space. Does that help? I'm gonna stop the share and get back over here to so Misty, let me know if that helped. And oh, here, let me address this really quick. Misty says, but can IRS argue that we also use phone and internet for personal use too? They could. So here's my argument. If I work for an employer in an office and I pick up the phone to use the phone to call home, are they going to charge me for it? If the fact that technology has improved so that more than one person can use the internet at one time, yay, that's great. It's a whole lot better than dial-up because I remember those days. But that's not my problem. I can't separate that. But I 100% need it, and if it's off, my business is in trouble. So hopefully that answers your question. That's the way I look at it, and that is exactly what I would argue if the IRS was to question me about it. It is a ordinary and necessary expense for my business in the pursuit of income. So that is what the definition says. And there's my Wilson boy. Ordinary and necessary expense in the pursuit of income. All right. So next question. Erica says, hi, I am looking to start a life coaching business, but need to create a LLC first. I have been told an LLC is taxed on your personal income. Is that correct? And should just start an S Corp? Okay, hold your horses. You don't necessarily need to create an LLC first. I understand a coaching business could possibly have some liabilities. get an umbrella policy. It's a whole lot less expensive and a whole lot less to deal with, right? On LLC, I would encourage you to not start an LLC until your business can absorb the costs of having an LLC. I spoke about it really briefly at the very beginning of this, but there are several steps to having an LLC once you have it, okay? Not including the expense of getting it. But once you have it, then you have to file an informational return every year with the state, and you have to file an actual return for your LLC. And that doesn't matter whether you have an S Corp designation or not, because an S Corp is just a tax designation for an LLC. And then depending on which way you go, that money then goes back to your personal return. Everything after you deduct your expenses goes back to your personal return. And then that goes to either a Schedule C or a Schedule E, which are basically the same thing. And then you can deduct further things like home office expense and get as low as possible on your what your profits are going to be, that then go over to the rest of your 1040. We'll just leave it at that. All right, so Kristen says, if I am taking, let's see, how we do this. If I am taking a percentage of rent and utilities for working at home, can I also take the same percent of any housing repairs that were needed, like plumbing, since I am needing a working bathroom to work? Absolutely. Yes. In case I guess that question came in while I was explaining the other one. So yes, any repairs, maintenance. If you listen, repairs and maintenance. That's the way it is listed. If it is a repair and or maintenance, what kinds of things can you think of that are maintenance for your home? I'm going to leave that up to you. Zachary says, I recently bought your new workbook. Where can I find the how to walk through video on YouTube? So I did the walkthrough on my January live call. I think I went into depth with it more than I did with the actual instructional video. So try that. If you still have any questions, you can reach out. Cherry says, do we have to upload any IRS forms like Schedule C into OLT, or are we entering all the info directly into the program? You are entering all the info directly into the program. OLT has the Schedule C that you have to fill out. Cherry Picket says, in your workbook under expenses, can we just enter a monthly dollar amount for COGS, or do we need to do it per purchase? I highly suggest you do it per purchase. You want to be able to show this receipt for this bank transaction for where it is entered in your expenses. Okay, so let's see. For home office expense, if we don't have rent and are paying a mortgage, we don't use the mortgage. Yes, you do use the mortgage payment. I put them both in there in the workbooks. Well, maybe I didn't. Anyway, mortgage payment or rent. No, I take that back. Rent, or you get mortgage interest and insurance, regardless of rent or homeowner, and then you get property taxes for your home mortgage, but you can but you're going to get depreciation for owning the home, so not your mortgage. So Erica says, should start a corp instead. I suggest that you don't start anything other than just being a sole proprietor. Welcome, KT Treasures. Glad you are here now. Kristen is getting the AC serviced, so that is repairs and maintenance. A new dishwasher came. That is an upgrade. So there is a space for that, or you can put it into repairs and maintenance. Misty says, is a cleaning service for the home considered maintenance? Does it maintain your home? Kristen says, I guess, but can you write off the 100% of the repairs and maintenance or just the same percentage that we use for the house? So you put it into the repairs and maintenance on the home office deduction, and you get the percentage that is attributable to your business, unless it is directly affecting your business space. For example, the ceiling falls through in your office. Let's hope that doesn't happen. That would be a repair directly associated with your office. You would 100% be able to take that bill. The ceiling falls through in the living room, that you would be able to take as a percentage. Yes, correct. We don't use the mortgage payment. Liz says, if you have learned one little thing that will help you, hit that like button. Thank you, Liz. I am so bad about saying hit the like, hit the subscribe, ring the bell. I'm horrible about that. I figure if you guys like it, then please do so. If you want to be notified, you know where the bell is. Otherwise, check your notifications. And yes, please do hit your subscribe button. And thank you. Now that you said that, thank you so much for the 500 people that have subscribed to me. I am so happy. I'll have to figure something out for when I hit 1,000 and do some type of a giveaway. So if you guys can help me get to 1,000, I will figure out something that I can do for everybody, or at least like a giveaway or something that I can do that for my first 1,000 subscribers. So we're right at halfway there, and I thank every single one of you for that. Mitzi sells. Can we deduct home insurance if it's part of our mortgage payment? Yes, you can still deduct it, as well as the taxes that's part of your escrow. Both are good. Erica says, with no business, is it okay for money coming in from life coaching to personal bank account or PayPal personal account? Would that work for tax with no business? All right. So if you are receiving money for a service that you are providing, you have a business. Okay. So let's get that part down. A sole proprietor is a business. And a lot of people want to think that it's not and jump into LLCs and things like that their business isn't ready for. And generally speaking, that is what sends them under. All the extra expenses that their business can't support is why, in my opinion, most businesses fail within the first 5 years, because they've got all this money going out and they have got nothing or very little coming in. So they're having to borrow and go work other jobs. And when they go work other jobs, then they don't feel like doing the business that they created, and it goes under. And then they're out thousands and thousands of dollars and time for starting this thing where they took bad information from someone that tried to force them into a business entity that their business wasn't ready for. So, yes, I get very passionate and very upset about people doing that to people. My whole goal is to get you through the first 5 years and into making lots of money so that you can live your best life ever. All right. So that all being said, back to Erica's question, absolutely separate your expenses. You can, it doesn't have to be a business checking account. It can just be another account. As far as PayPal, I wholeheartedly suggest that you switch to a business PayPal account. I recently did it. I spent 45 minutes on the phone with this lady. Bless her heart. She took the time. She explained all this stuff to me. And once she did, and I actually got switched over, I could have kissed her. It's amazing. I am loving my PayPal business account. It looks just like a checking account and it makes it so easy to send invoices. Although I'm having some issue with some of the people getting an invoice, but I can also send them a link personally, whether it be in chat or text or a personal email. So it's phenomenal. You see all your income, you see all your outgo, you see all your invoices, and the fees are no different. So I wholeheartedly recommend that you just, if you've already been using it for your business, that you just transfer that personal PayPal account over to a business. And then if you still need a personal PayPal account to get friends and family, then start another one. Or just use Cash App or Venmo or one of those other ones for the friends and family stuff. All right. I hope that answers your question, but absolutely separate accounts as quickly as possible by the end of the day. Let's go. All right. Right, Erica. It is a business. It's your new mantra. It is a business. It is a business. It's your business. Okay. Kristen says, I live in a mobile home park where I own the home, but lease the land. I own my home fully, so no mortgage, but pay a lot fee to lease the land. Put your lot fee in your home office deductions. It's just like rent. The mobile home is considered a vehicle too. It has a registration through the state like a car. Can I take depreciation on the home still? That is a really good question. Guess what I'm going to do? I am going to take a picture of that because it's not a question I've ever come across before. So shoot me a message so that I can make sure that I get back to you. And or put that, let's see, that would be, can you put your question in the comments below so that I can make sure that I answer that question and answer it for other people to see. Maybe that'll be the easiest way. Great, thank you. Okay, so Cherry Picket says, this is Catherine, by the way. Hi, Catherine. My husband rents out farmland but doesn't farm himself. He has expenses, though, like keeping the drive shoveled, mowing, water, electricity, etc. Rents out farmland. So you own the farmland, Catherine? Some of these questions, it would be so much easier if you guys were on here, but I am trying to watch the chat for so If you own the land, so that would be a separate business expense. He's getting rent from land that he owns, and then he can expense those other things. So that would be a Schedule F, I believe. And I'm trying to figure out, I'm wondering which Catherine, but that's okay. You don't have to say. You can send me a private message. Thank you, Kristen. And that's the problem, Kristen. She says, I suppose it's like depreciating a car, but you don't really depreciate a car. So unless you're taking all the expenses for the car. So that's why I need to check. Catherine says, we own the farm and he rents the land for farming. We have a building on the property that the renters sometimes use for water, etc. And there's a driveway that goes to the field that he maintains. Okay, so that needs to be a separate schedule as a separate business, as a farm business. And then all the expenses, like what you're talking about, the driveway shovel, the mowing, the water, the electricity, all those things can be write-offs. All right. You are welcome. I have gotten to the end of the questions in the chat. We are 38 minutes in. Again, I have consults immediately after this, so I can't hang around. I need to end this at, like 1 or 2 minutes to 1 o'clock Eastern. Again, I'm going to be doing this on a weekly basis at noon here and at 1 in the group. So noon here on YouTube Live, 1 o'clock in the group. If it's my normal group call, then it runs for however long it runs, up to 3 hours. If it is, and the other 2 weeks, we've got 2 of them, that will only be an hour in the group. Here, they will be 1 hour each week. Cherry Pickett says, if you want to change from an LLC to a sole prop, how would you do that? You would just close the sole prop. You would close the LLC and everything would revert back to being a sole prop. It's a fairly simple process and a lot less expensive than it is to go from the sole prop to the LLC. But, figure out what your reasons are for making the change. And if you need to discuss that further, let me know. KT Treasure says, we can message you and talk about consults or email, I guess. You can message and or email me about a consult. I will, just a second, I will put my link in the chat. It's so much easier if I can just grab it though. So give me just a second. And that window popped up in the wrong place. So here are all of my links. That's everything that I link to. And then this one is specifically to set up a consult. For those that want to set up an LLC, I highly suggest you do it in a state that is corporation friendly, not necessarily your state. It's fairly simple to do it in a different state than you are in. And the register that you need, that because you have to have someone in the state, they don't generally charge a whole lot. All they do is they receive your mail and forward it on to you. And then if you need over and above the mail that they will forward, then it's nominal fee extra. They can also handle doing your informational renewal with the state every year, sometimes for a nominal fee. Alrighty. Any more questions? Marina, hi, welcome. Glad you made it. If you don't know, so Marina just found me on here, but Marina, in case you don't know, I am also a reseller, which is why you see all this stuff in the background. So I sell on I sell online, as well as do accounting and bookkeeping, and have a full service accounting firm with my partner. Wonderful. So glad you made it. And it's fun, so much fun to talk accounting stuff with other accountants and bookkeepers. So I appreciate you reaching out. Tina says, hi, on your spreadsheet, you have total square foot of home. On our mortgage paperwork, the square footage does not include the basement. Do I add the basement to the total square footage? Do you work in the basement? I do. So, and I, like you, my basement is not included. Then include that. I would treat it just like the garage. So if you have anything in your garage, then you can use, but you have to add the whole garage, right? But you can use the whole. If you have a 500 square foot of garage and you only have a tote that you store in the garage for your business, you can still use the whole 500 square foot garage. So you're using 500 and 500. But for you, where you're using half of your finished basement for inventory storage, let's say that the upstairs is 1,000 square foot, and then you use half of the basement, which is 500 square foot. I would count it as 1,500 square foot for your house, and then add the 500 to whatever office space that you use upstairs. So say it's a 10 by 10, so 600 square foot for business. And then you're saying that you also have inventory coming into the garage. So add, like it has on my spreadsheet, it has your total house and then the garage, and then you put in your business use of the house and your total garage. Because if you have inventory coming into your garage, then you're using the garage, and it doesn't matter. The IRS specifically states that you can use your entire garage. You can use your garage for multiple things, even if you're using it for your business. Marina says, yes, it's that busy time, but I'm blessed for free extension for Cali residents. It's about time they give you something. They take everything else out there. Although I've been out there. I was out there a couple years ago, and we went to Yosemite, and we traveled and went to Sequoia and Kings Canyon, and we love it. I won't live in the state, but I would love to visit for an extended period of time. Misty says, does our mileage log have to have timestamps? Do you have to list out every business trip in one day, or can you just do total miles for the day and write where you went through the day? That's exactly what I do. What you're saying, Misty. Hold on, I'll pull my mileage tracker back up and show you. Nope, not that one. This one. Okay, so this is what my mileage tracker looks like. It's got the days of the week to make it easy for you. It's got each day of the year, and then it has, where you went. So just put in your total round trip miles out to your furthest business place and back. You don't need to do any breakdowns of that. And then if you stopped at 5 different places for business, write the 5 different places for business. If you made a couple of personal stops in between, so long as those personal stops are within your business trips. So if you drove 50 miles out to hit a Goodwill and you stopped on the way there, on the way back at the grocery store, the doctor's office, the liquor store, I don't care what you do. It doesn't matter. All the personal stops in between don't matter. Don't count them against you. You just count the total out and the total back. Alrighty. Max, welcome. It's Max and Car. If you are in the group, then you know who I'm talking about. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you. All right. Well, we have about just over 10 minutes left. Definitely. There's lots of good vibes with the people that come and chat with me. All my peoples, my tribe. And I appreciate each and every one of you. And I decided to finally just let it all hang out back here. All right. So, anything else? If anybody needs any help getting their taxes done, reach out, set up a consult. Thank you for stopping by, Marina. You have a great day too. Tansel says, how much is too much business meal write-offs? Well, if it's legitimate, then there isn't too much. If you are legitimately meeting with people, then you just flip that receipt over, you write who you met with, give a couple of bullet points about what you talked about. All right, so then you get 50% of that. If you were legitimately traveling, so you're like out of your home area, and home area I talked about earlier in the call is different for everyone. And there is no specifics in the Internal Revenue Code. So if you are like in a heavily, like Chris used to be in a very heavy traffic area, and you could be 2 miles from your house, but it takes you an hour to get there, then I'd be eating lunch at the place next door. If you are in a more rural area, but you travel 30 minutes away and you're spending, half a day or more out, then again, I would take the expense. But again, it's relative to your situation, and an ordinary and necessary expense is the rule. So if it is ordinary and necessary as an expense for your business in the pursuit of income, then you take it. And if somebody says something, you argue that point. Kristen says, Cheryl is so awesome. We need to get her channel monetized for all the help she gives us. Yay! Please do. That being said, YouTube, for me, YouTube is like the ultimate business. It's the ultimate tax write-off. So I'm making money from having my YouTube channel, but I'm not being paid from YouTube yet. So for me, it's more advertising, right? Because I'm talking with you guys, and because of that, I get consults, people buy my workbook, we do taxes, whatever it is. So there's different ways of bringing in money from YouTube that aren't directly related to YouTube actually paying you. So come on, join me. Max says, my goals next 2 weeks are to get my taxes done and get a better idea of my numbers for each business. Absolutely. And I will be in the group tomorrow for an hour, and here next Wednesday, and the group again next Thursday. So twice a week. You got me for twice a week for the next 4 weeks. If you're in the group, you got me for twice a week. If you're not in the group, then maybe join the group for the next month. Or 2 months. But let's see. So with Misty says, so with meals, would you charge your card the full amount and write off 50% at tax time, or charge the 50% at the time of the meal? So the way that my workbook does it, you put in the entire amount. I would rather you put in the entire amount all the time. Like, always do it the same way. Put in the entire amount. It matches your receipt. It matches your credit card or your bank statement, and then take the 50%. So in my workbook, you put in the whole amount and it will calculate the 50%. Thanks, Tansel. Misty says, does the electric bill, water bill get figured out as a percentage of your home? I'm assuming that can be deducted. Yes. So I talked about it a lot in this call in various ways. Go back and listen to the whole thing, just so that you can get all of the deductions, because I've got like 5 minutes left. So I don't want to repeat everything now, but there's a lot of deductions that you can possibly take as home office expense. So, but you're going to use the regular form, the 8529. You're going to use the regular form when you do your taxes, and you're going to put them all under indirect expenses. And in putting them under indirect expense, you will get the percentage that is attributable to the business use of your home. Kristen says, have you looked into sponsored videos? Lots of revenue opportunities there, like Skillshare, etc. I have not yet looked into sponsored videos. If a sponsor is watching, if somebody's watching, then you want to sponsor a video, reach out. I will look at what your product is And if I can honestly endorse it, then I am more than willing to discuss it. But I won't endorse anything that I can't 100% get behind. So I have to be able to use it first. Also, Audible, you get $5 for each person that signs up, even if they cancel. And that is actually a subscription that I wholeheartedly subscribe to. I am a huge, huge, huge Audible fan. I am also a subscriber to YouTube Premium because I hate commercials with a passion. So there's that. Misty Cell says, okay, I'm using OLT. The software adds it to that form, right? So when you go into OLT and it comes up time to do home office expense, then it asks you if you want to do the simplified method or the regular. And you want to click the box as regular. Then when you get into it, it will ask you what your business use of home is, and then the square footage, and then it'll ask you what your total square footage is. And then you click over to the next screen. And when you click to the next screen, it has a left-hand side for direct expenses. That's anything that's directly attributable to your business use of space. And then it has an indirect side, and that's everything else that's in your home. So most of us are going to put most of the stuff on the indirect side, because if it can go on the direct side, there's a corresponding place in the regular expense portion of the Schedule C. And it's just easier to put it there because you're already looking at these things and putting them into your expenses during the year. The indirect stuff you're not putting in your expenses during the year. So it's going to be an additional write-off when you get there, right? So it's going to lower what you think you have profited by having this extra. Mitzi says, if I fill it out right as indirect. Yes, indirect. Kristen says, you can also do Amazon affiliate links for all your YouTube gear. Yes, and I just, like 2 weeks ago, got signed up for Amazon affiliates, and I really haven't done any links for things that I use yet. Although I do have a gadget right here that as soon as I get the chance to do a whole unboxing, I'm going to do a whole unboxing video with it and show it in use. So I'm excited about doing that one. And Mitzi says, I got to go check OLT on what I did. Have not filed yet. I'm sure it's fine, but yes, definitely indirect. Just go, when you do your taxes, go through them, like get all of the stuff together first, then sit down and methodically go through it one step at a time. That's the best way to do it. If you get to a place that you don't have the information, stop what you're doing, go get the information, come back to it. Methodically, one step at a time, go through it. So Missy says, so it's okay to charge your personal card for electric, water, and then at tax time? Yes, absolutely. It doesn't have to even come out. It can come out of your husband's account. It doesn't matter. And I'm getting ready. I got to end this. So Kristen says, it's so worth it because you get commissions for anything people buy within 24 hours after using your link. Thank you, Kristen. If you want to reach out, please do. I could use all the help I could get for setting all that stuff up. And your ideas are wonderful, and I would like to utilize them all. I am actually trying to put together a completely separate sales platform. So I'm looking for any help that somebody can give me on deciding what platform to use for what I need. So I need somebody to reach out that can consult me on that. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I got to go. And I love you all, and thank you. And I will see you tomorrow in the group and next week right here. Bye.